There we go. We can go. So we can call this meeting to order. It's July 15th, Merrimack Conservation Commission. So, gentlemen here are obviously not here for public comment, so we can move along from that. There's no public hearings and no appointments. So, statutory business, gentlemen, if you would make sure you sign in too so we get the spelling of your name correct, that'd be great. Perfect. Thank you. So, could you just give a review of the project here before us? And
Yes, we're here for 747 DW Highway.
mm-hmm.
My name is Richard Maynard. I'm the professional engineer with Maynard & Paquette Engineering of Nashua. We did the plans. With me to my right is Christopher Bova, who's the proponent, the applicant, who's proposing to build this project. As you see in your plans, I think you've got the reduced ones. It's at the corner of Daniel Webster Highway and Crossroads Path Boulevard. Crossroads Path Boulevard is technically a private driveway, not a town street. I don't know if any of you have been on the board long enough. There was a previous proposal on this site which never went forward for several office buildings and things like that. This is proposing a 60 by 190 three-story building plus basement, walkout basement in the rear, of 21 units of residential and 3 office units of 1,500 square feet. This is part of an overall PUD, which includes several other sites in this whole particular area, but this one is stands on its own as a lot and as a site plan. As I said, the building will be 3 stories, 21 residential units and 3 office units. The lot is 2.5 acres. It's in 3 zones: the C2 commercial, the I1 industrial, and the AR residential zone. Plus, it's in the Aquifer Conservation District, which is the reason why we're here before you. There's 66 parking spaces. Folks want to look at drawing number 3, which is called the grading plan. The site essentially drains from the intersection of Daniel Webster Highway, crosses diagonally across the lot to the right rear corner. As you see off the parking lot, we're proposing a large retention basin. This will catch all the water being run off from the site. For the 100-year storm, there'll be no runoff beyond the property. So what happens here, this will capture all the water, it'll recharge it into the ground. It'll also take the silts and things out of the runoff and things like this. The soils here, I forget all the specifics, but they're excessively well drained, which means they're coarse sands and gravels in this thing. So there's no drainage going into Crossroads Path Boulevard. There's no drainage going off the site unless it goes there now. But all the improved areas, all the asphalt areas of the land will go to this retention basin and remain there and perk into the ground. That pretty much is essentially what's being proposed here. Thank you.
Sure, quick housekeeping. When do you go in front of the planning board?
Well, probably, we were scheduled to go tomorrow, but they want us to postpone, so we'll be there August 20th, I think it is.
Okay. Are they postponing because of their agenda, or are they looking for something more on the?
They want more answers from us, so.
Okay.
I guess they consider our application incomplete at this time, although they wrote us a 4-page review memo, but whatever. We just have to update the plans and things like that. It's more little technical things that they're not really changing any of the project. They're all little clarifications and updates in the notes and things like that.
Okay.
So how are you directing the water into your retention basin?
By surface runoff. If you look at the contours and the spot elevations and the squiggly arrows,
Yeah, I see that. So
it's all running to the rear of the parking lot and into the retention basin. It's not a detention, it's a retention. It holds all the water and infiltrates into the ground.
okay, so what about the roof structure?
You mean?
Is that do you have gutters or water collection from the roof Or is it just drip?
The
to-
water, will have roof drains that splash down on the ground, which eventually reach through the parking lot, makes it to the basin.
Or so it'll sheet flow across the parking lot?
It's all sheet flow, yes. There's no piped drainage, it's all sheet flow.
Right, so does the retention basin go all the way to the edge of the property lines to cover the,
No, it does not. As you see in drawing number 3, I'm not sure which one you have out.
Yep.
On the northern section, it goes to the setback lines and the rear setback, and the rest of it's well inside the property. So there's all to the right of this property, it's gonna be preserved as open space, no disturbance. Whatever vegetation and trees are there, they're gonna remain.
So are the contours sufficient so that the front parking lot will channel water to the rear parking lot and then channel it into the retention pond?
Yes, if you look at the spot elevation, that's the easiest thing to see. The water will be channeled down the 2 driveways on either side of the building into the rear parking lot and then run off to the right, off the parking lot towards the back right-hand side, overland to the retention basin. It's pretty basic, there's nothing fancy here, no intricate things. This is, you know, the way the property lays out, it lends itself to this kind of.
Yeah. So are you doing any curbing with the parking lot in order
Any
to?
what?
Curbing?
No.
No curbing, okay.
The only curbing is the sidewalk adjacent to the building, in the front and the rear, so. To provide you know, the sidewalk, so the sidewalk itself is raised above the parking lot.
Mhm.
Provides like a little bumper for the cars that back up, that drive up to it, so. But that's the only curbing on site, everything else is no curbs.
You guys are doing sidewalks on that, right?
No. I think that's a no-no.
I didn't know if the state was gonna ask you.
No, the state has looked at this in the past with other proposals, at least twice, and in every occasion, they don't want anything happening in their right-of-way. There's a discussion we'll have, maybe with the planning board, on whether we have sidewalks on Crosswoods Path Boulevard. The previous approval from a few years ago did not have any sidewalks anywhere along any of the right-of-ways.
We do that.
So, there doesn't seem to be a need for sidewalks. There's nothing to connect them to. You know, the property to our right doesn't lend itself to walking and things like that, so, in any regard, so. That's finally up to the planning board, but we don't see a need for sidewalks. It doesn't appear to be a need. Regardless, either way, it's still gonna drain to the retention basin.
I'm going to page 7 on your construction notes, in particular under the general heading. There's item 9, and it's a little difficult to read on this, on this small print, so.
Which item 9? I'm sorry.
A9?
It's under general, so it's
Okay, general
A9.
site specs, yes.
Yep. So under 9, you've got, I'm not really sure what that statement says, but I can see the word hay in there.
Number 9 says frozen materials, soft, mucky, or highly compressible materials should not be incorporated into fills.
And no, you're looking at the wrong.
Number 9 in general over here.
Over
The general.
Straw and or hay mulch shall be mowings of acceptable herbaceous growth, free from
Okay.
noxious weeds and stems, and shall be dry. So, as a technique to get the seed to grow, quite often you put hay and straw on top of the dirt until the grass comes
All right, so
through.
that's, okay.
And that's what that's referring to.
So in a couple places, the word hay, we would like to have that stricken, and only use straw. So I saw that in the general terms 9, and Also, under
I'll find the rest, yes.
C, the chart, the third chart,
Yeah,
you've got hay or straw up in the top of the page, second column.
fake straw bale, all right.
Yeah, so we just like to strike hay and make sure we're only using straw.
That says straw, doesn't, where did I, where do I see hay?
Second column, top chart.
Right here.
Second column,
Second column,
top chart,
hay or straw.
hay or straw.
Okay.
All right, no hay, okay. In addition to trying to find all the hay words,
Yeah.
I'll put another note, no hay to be allowed on site, okay?
Okay.
Just to cover if I miss one.
All right, perfect. Also, we like to see soil testing go on before you apply fertilizer.
Excuse me, what kind of?
We'd like to see soil testing go on before you apply fertilizer,
Soil testing.
to see if you have the nutrients already in the soil. You may not need to fertilize at all. You're in an aquifer protection zone.
Soil nutrient testing, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so prior to fertilizing, in the aquifer zone, we don't allow phosphates in the-
Oh,
in the fertilizers.
Prior to fertilizer. No phosphates, got it.
So, and there's, that was only in a couple of places.
No, that'll end up being no hay allowed, and the soil notes will be a note on drawing number 1,
Yeah.
as a blanket note.
Okay, because in your temporary seating and your permanent seating, and item C, I can't, vegetative measures, 2A and 3A are your two references to soil, to fertilizers. One's a 10-10-10 and one's a 10-20-10, so if we can just wipe out that middle number,
Oh, what, the middle number is,
Temporary seating.
the phosphates.
it's phosphate, okay.
Yeah. Anybody find anything else that they,
So
Wasn't
did you do a
adjective.
stormwater calculation for the properties?
There's some hand calcs there and one of the stuff, but then there's a whole package that's sitting with
Okay.
planning.
Yeah, okay, so,
Those are just a brief idea of what's going on. There's a thick
Right.
package of stormwater calcs that have been submitted to the planning department.
you saw this?
I saw that,
Yeah.
yeah.
To document the size of the retention basin and the runoff and things like that.
Yeah.
Because he made some references to it in here, of the size that it needed and the size that it's going to be.
Yeah.
I know we usually want to have the executive summary, but I was,
Yeah.
are you happy with that, or do you want it submitted to this?
Do you want stormwater calculations? Is that what he's asking?
Well, if the report exists, then we can see it. So normally we're used to seeing summaries out of stormwaters that
I'll
they
give you,
give
I
you the
have a copy of
tables.
the summary.
Yeah,
Do you have a copy you can leave with us?
Yes,
Okay, perfect.
the 1-inch thick computer printout, I didn't.
Yeah.
yeah, no, that's, we
It's
understand.
Something,
No.
pages.
Nice try, Pete.
There's 3 copies of the executive summary, that's
All right.
all, with the conclusions and stuff.
Anybody want to look at them? Quickly?
What's the CN factor? CN factor, you know what that is? CN factor, what is the CN factor? Katie?
In the formula, that's a characteristic of the soil type and the runoff. It has a different factor for different soils, different slopes and things like that. So it's a coefficient of runoff that's applied within the formula. Anybody old enough to use the old-fashioned method called the rational formula, which used to be Q equals CIA, flow equals a constant, then intensity of rain and then area, the C factor, and that's a derivative of that. That's a refinement as we improve our drainage calc. So it's reflective of the surface cover.
Is there a certain number that you shoot for or you hope for?
No, there's nothing to shoot for. You choose what's there.
Yeah.
It's a reflective of what's there, whether it's
Current
meadow, whether
conditions.
it's forest, whether it's bare earth,
Yep.
whether it's asphalt, things like that.
Thank you.
Simplistically, impervious surface such as asphalt have a CN number of 0.9 or 90% runoff. Meadows, grasslands have a runoff factor of 20% or 0.2, and everything else is in between.
Anybody want to see this? So the plans that you're submitting to, or the modified plan that you're submitting to the planning board, is it gonna change anything that we're seeing here tonight? I mean, is it clarifications on,
No, it's all I'll call it non-conservation thing. They want the light poles out of the street, they want some editing, they want some better notes on zoning. Nothing to change the layout, nothing to change the contouring or the grading or anything like that.
okay.
And amending the PUD.
Huh?
And amending the
Yeah, but-
PUD. For taking effect on.
You just told them something they don't understand. This is part of an overall PUD
Yeah,
that encompasses about 10 different sites.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and this is the last of them. And so since we're the last one in, we have to update the PUD, but that's got to do with everybody else but us. Because the PUD was originally approved years ago, and maybe even,
99.
Yeah.
so. Jesus.
Been at this a while, huh?
Huh?
You've been at this a while?
No, he hasn't. I'm the one, no,
He's been at too long.
he's here to learn. He's here to learn.
We're gonna have to have a copy, 'cause so we're gonna have to keep a copy with it.
Well, the green chart.
Are you gonna be connected to town water?
Yes, we're gonna have town water and town sewer.
Just curious if you had if you had a well and had tested it,
No, no.
what would be the results, but that's good that you're on town water.
Let's ask about the runoff one more time. In the far northern corner, the northwestern,
Northeast corner,
this would be, no, the furthest,
all the
closest
upper
to the
left.
VW highway, upper
Yes.
left, right. You know, when I read the gradient, it seems to me some of that is gonna run off down into the office building of the storage business.
If it does, if any that's in that area that says snow storage on it,
Yeah.
that's where it goes now, and it's gonna continue to go there. We're not changing any of that. But it falls in our pavement,
Yeah.
it's gonna be taken down to our retention basin. So when we're not changing that little corner,
Sure.
that contouring and that grading and that runoff stays the same. We're not doing anything to that. It stays like it is, so.
But the lot isn't existing now, the parking lot.
Correct.
So that's new impervious surface that comes up pretty
Yes.
close. It doesn't look like that retaining swale, or what is it?
Well, if
The
you,
new thing you're building, it doesn't look like it's gonna capture a small portion of that lot.
it's gonna contain, the runoff's gonna come down this driveway and come this way.
How are you gonna turn it? That's what I'm saying, without any curbing or anything.
We don't need curbing to do that, you need changes in grade. It's gonna downslope down this driveway, down this way. So it's not like a torrent.
So, so is the driveway gonna be graded to
It's
not,
gonna be graded to make it,
to go
make
with
it go
that?
to the right.
So,
And-
won't that be directing some water into the building?
No, because the building's way over here.
I know, but as it loops around, isn't some of that water gonna be directed towards the building? If there's not enough velocity to the water?
No, that won't happen at all. There's a sidewalk and a curb against the building over in that area that's 6 inches to 18 inches higher. It's not gonna go to the building, and all the grass areas are several inches above the pavement elevation. The grass is not lower than the pavement, the grass is slightly higher, a few inches, nothing big time, but, so.
Yeah, but your point, Mike, earlier, that snow storage area in the northwest corner, as it melts, is it intended to run across the parking lot, or is it gonna move over to the
It's gonna move over to the adjacent parcel.
Okay, so you're gonna be increasing increasing the water discharge then, in that area?
An insignificant amount. How do I explain? The increase has to do with peak discharge and traditional discharge, the amount of snow melt.
Mm-hmm,
It's well below any of those runoff numbers.
I see.
And there's not enough area to store any appreciable amount of snow anyway. The main snow area is really to the right, inside of the site, and to the back towards the retention basin.
I'm assuming the snow removal apparatus is.
Sorry.
Yeah. The snow removal apparatus then is probably not going to go beyond the parking lot, or just push it into the
It's
grass?
just gonna push it off the asphalt, that's all, yeah.
That's it, okay,
Yeah, it's just gonna be standard plows, nothing
Yeah.
special.
okay.
Is there been discussion about snow melt, chemicals?
No. Is that you wanna make a specification for that?
No, you're going to a retention pond already, it's not really, but we do obviously recommend, and particularly within the conservation district, there's a green snow pro removal. And that's the training, it's sponsored by the state,
Can I
What's
say
it called?
something?
the green snow pro.
Green Snow Pro.
Okay, yes.
We use it already in my current building.
Yeah.
We're dog-friendly apartments,
Yeah.
so we have dogs, so all the stuff we use, dogs are in and out of the building all the time. We have a dog park across the street for them, so we're already currently using that now.
So
Yes.
you know, no, he administers and the site across the street, which is a similar one to this,
Yeah.
the residential site right across the street. He's the
Owner.
owner and project manager, and he's responsible for its maintenance, so he knows that part of it.
So for comments for the planning board, I would just ask them to review the drainage technique to ensure the discussion provided to us.
I think they have that out for peer review right now.
Yeah. So, I mean, it wasn't clear to me that all the water gets captured and directed appropriately. The 10 and 25-year storms show a slight increase in off-flow. It was very slight, I get it.
That is so insignificant.
I know.
It's ludicrous.
Yeah.
It's, because
Understood,
I understand.
understood.
So that everybody understands it. It's a typical catch basin takes 2 CFS. The increase is .04 CFS.
Yeah.
Insignificant in the big picture.
Mhm.
And it may be a quirk in the calculation that comes out that way, but, I'm not 100% sure.
And then, your comments on straw and hay and fertilizer and Green Snow Pro.
Anybody else got any questions, comments? Gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you, folks. When do you think these comments go online?
I'll be getting them over to planning and development, community development, later this week.
All right,
So they'll be in the planning board prior to your meeting.
all right. I just want to make sure I get the right notes on the plans and stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Sure.
You want that?
We need to keep one,
That's fine.
yeah, we just need to keep
You
one
got,
copy.
you got one here.
Yeah. You guys want this?
No, those are all yours.
Okay.
Night, folks, thank you.
Yeah, good night.
I think we were all here when that came
Yeah, I remember that.
last time.
It was a while ago, but. It was a while ago, but we were here. Cause I remember talking about, to explain the whole site, the whole PD, and said, okay, this is what it's about, so. All right. Okay. All right, so, new business. Unpermitted removal of water from the wetlands in south of Woosick Lake Road. Mike, took some pictures and sent it in, you guys, it's all in your packet. I called DES and I have not, they didn't really get back to me with any kinda direction yet. So, other than the fact that we've seen this and we know it's happening, we don't really have a whole lot to, unless someone has some insider knowledge.
And it's been happening for a long time.
Yeah, yeah. And we had this happen before. It was, I remember talking about this before. You remember that? It was a,
I don't remember details.
no?
But in this case, didn't we get feedback that they need landowner permission?
Permission.
He forwarded some stuff, that was
Right,
great.
so the landowner for that parcel is it the town of Merrimack? Did we establish that?
If he's using the road, based upon what I read, the DES rules, if the town adopted a rule or an ordinance saying that you have to have some type of permission, I mean, he's using our access, the town road, so
Yeah.
he'd need our authority to do that.
Mm.
That's the way I look at it.
And-
That's the way I thought I read what you fed back to us, which means, do we know if anyone in the town has provided that permission?
No, it's because it's never been addressed with the town.
Okay, so therefore he's in violation. It would appear, right?
Well, there's the question I had was, do we have to formally make this a rule? Or under the DES rule, the way I read it also was that the property owner, like you mentioned earlier, but I'm wondering if we have to make it a formal rule within the town.
Well, how would a private property owner do it? Would they have to make a rule and post it on
Well,
their
that's
property?
their property. You can set certain rules on your property.
Correct, but do you have to post them?
Excuse me?
Do you have to post those rules to keep people from taking water off your property?
I would say yes, you gotta get your permission to your landowner if that's.
No, you're not following me, Pete.
Okay,
So what I'm saying is if that was privately owned property,
yep.
would that private landowner have to put up a sign next to the water access point and say, you can't take my water?
I would say no.
Right, so why would the
I would-
town have to
yeah.
do that?
Because this is something that from what I've known, I don't think we've ever really enforced it. And I think if the town is going to, I think that we need to make it known, especially to folks like this.
Yeah,
And it might be the wish of the council that they don't feel like, I mean, because now you're talking about, so what happens if we don't formalize some type of rule? What happens if we ask this individual not to do it again and he does? You know?
well, then you would be, I guess we'd have to find out if the DES rules then have any
Yeah.
enforcement.
Do
with
we
them.
have to bring
Right.
DES into it? And, you know, and they have to start, you know, I guess if it's an ordinance, you know,
Yeah, but we may not have jurisdiction to govern those waters that way, hence a DES rule. I guess we need to know more.
We need some
But
enforcement
it-
report or some.
It would be, so the conservation commissions are to oversee the water resources in a community. So we would want to be part of any discussion that would establish or not establish that rule, because that's part of our, per RSA 36-A, that's part of our charter, you might say, so.
I would think, you know, as your representative on the council, I'd want the input of the conservation committee. I'd love to hear from somebody, you know, let's put it on the council agenda and have somebody, from DES or somebody who might have the expertise to say, this is the possible damage that's occurring. Because I think, to me, and a lot of folks who don't have as great a knowledge about wetlands, I'd wanna know, if I'm sitting on the council, I'd wanna know, okay, I probably should turn that on, that would help, right? But, I'd wanna know, you know, okay, what's the damage, is there damage being done?
Right.
So, I'd love to hear from somebody, if the Conservation Commission, wanted to bring somebody in to talk to the council about that. I mean, but certainly, I fully agree. We wanna hear your recommendations, the council's the commission's recommendations on this.
I'd love to get a legal viewpoint on this too.
Exactly, and that was the other thing I was gonna say, is this might be something worth, and I'll mention it to the town manager, to find out, is it something we can do? Are we overstepping our bounds, or, you know, who would we refer to then if we were, and how would you go about it?
I can say in the past that location where he pulls over in the sand on the, before the curve there has been a turtle nesting site. And the eggs have been buried in the sand there and hatched.
Yeah, you know, we'd be curious about the volume of water that's being removed, at what rate it's being removed, you know, is it 1,000 gallons, you know, every week, or twice a week, or whatever, right? So, cause that feeds Babusick, that's part of the Babusick Lake watershed, or Babusick Brook watershed, which includes Babusick Lake, so.
I mean, I've gotta think that at some point, especially this time of year, your water levels start to drop anyways, and if you draw the rest of that water out of there, you
Yep.
just
Right, you're endangering.
your damage.
Correct, right, yeah. Never mind, you know, does he have filters, is he preventing, what is he doing to prevent,
Any cross-contamination, what's on the end of that hose that he's stuffing in the water?
Yeah, right, yeah, was that hose further down the street, or was it in another town that had milfoil in that water body that he took from the last time? All those kinds of things would be interesting to us, so.
Well, Mike brought it up, and I think he raised a good point.
Yep.
And we should question it, and so I can tell you that I will, mention to the town, shoot an email to the town manager, and see if we can get some type of legal opinion on this.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the Conservation Commission wants to do from there. Do they, would you wanna come before the council to discuss how to approach this?
Well, if we have some legal standing to regulate that, I think we would probably
Yeah.
wanna form an opinion and participate.
I'll follow up with DES again tomorrow, and see if I can get someone to,
Well,
weigh in.
where I live on Wire Road, that bridge there that they replaced, what, a year and a half ago?
Yeah.
that construction company, which was doing work on public roads, brought their own, it was big. It was a pump, and they pumped 2 or 3
Yeah.
truckloads of that a day out of there, and there was nothing discreet about it. It was a big orange pump. It wasn't camouflaged. It didn't have,
Well, there's still a pumping station down there.
they removed it very recently.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
But that was probably approved for like dust mitigation. And when you have something in the water body that's not being taken, put in and out, and put in different places, the risk of contamination is very low, because that lives there. The pump lives there.
Right, it doesn't.
This, him taking it in and out of who knows where, the truck going, we don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's a good practice. I really don't
Yeah.
know the ramifications. It was nothing discreet about it, which makes me believe that someone may have approved
So-
that.
so
Someone
I-
sanctioned that.
Right,
Yeah.
so I've seen in construction plans that we've done for various construction projects that are town projects, permission provided to the construction company to do dust mitigation utilizing local water bodies. I've seen that before. Kyle can probably,
Yeah.
provide references to when that's been done, so.
Yeah, while it seems similar, it's two very different things.
Yeah.
That was likely, part of the plan when they were reconstructing that. This person never appeared before anybody. They're just doing it.
Oh, and it's a for-profit business, and
Right.
we're certainly helping his,
Bottom line.
yeah.
Yeah, competitive bid, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe his competitors are doing the same thing in other places, I don't know, but.
I mean, I've seen it done over the years, not often, but the first time I ever saw it was on Wire Road at the bridge. And I actually stopped and asked the individual what he was doing, because my concern was not really reading what the truck was. And you see this big tank, I'm thinking, are you pumping out or pumping in?
Yeah.
That was the concern that day, and then the guy explained what he was doing. Nobody told me otherwise at that time. That was a long time ago.
If you can, are you gonna follow up with
Yeah,
town
I
manager?
guess-
See if we can get some kind of legal opinion from the town, and I'll continue to chase down DES. I got a couple items with it anyway, so.
So we'll kind of table this topic for now till I get that.
Yeah, I don't think we really have enough information to go forward and make an opinion. I mean, whether the fact we personally think it's wrong, that's one thing, but that's personal information, no? It's not really a good decision. All right. Okay, what was absent from your packets, unfortunately, was the bylaws. Because this is July, and this is supposed to be our meeting to vote in new officers and review the bylaws. So, I don't know if anyone had a chance to look at the bylaws on their own, or if you want to, we can table the changes to the bylaws till the next meeting, but we're not gonna table can't table the vote, but we can table the bylaws if you wanna wait till the next meeting and get a copy of them. They're on the town website. You don't need to you can get them right electronically if you'd like. They're not on the Greater Woods site, they're on the town website.
Were they included in the emailed version of the packet?
No, I don't believe so, they were not there, and that's on me, sorry about that. Sharon's on vacation this week, and we had a little miscommunication, so that's my bad. But our next meeting is the 5th of August.
Theoretically, we can change the bylaws at any time,
Right.
so.
Yeah, it's just, we're supposed to, we have an annual meeting, and July is our annual meeting, so we try to lump all that stuff together and get all our housekeeping done in one fell swoop, but We've not revised them. July 18th, 2016 was the last time we revised them. So I think you'll find that they're seemingly still fitting, but we obviously have some, got a full membership now, completely full, all alternates and full positions. And voting on these items is the entire commission, not just the full-time members. So voting for officers and voting on the bylaws is the whole commission. So it would be good, I think, to have some fresh eyes looking at this and making an assessment. So we're gonna table that to the 5th?
Yeah, can I make a suggestion for people to consider before the 5th?
Sure.
We may want to create a new officer position called secretary, and that person would be responsible for correspondence, and under correspondence would be, things that we have to write to the planning board or zoning board or other organizations. Could also take care of email that comes in, and represent the commission in that way and help alleviate the chair of having to do that on top of the other activities of the chair. So, since we only really have 2 officers called out, which is a chair and a vice chair, chairperson and a vice chairperson, so, just a thought. Of course, that means someone has to be appointed to that role too, so, or elected, I should say, however you want to do it. And you could make it an appointment of the chair, or you could make it an election of all the members present, however you want to do it, but it might help alleviate some of that. You might even want to throw administration of the website on there too. So, but just a thought. I mean, it can always be done informally as it's been done previous, but
It is good to have someone in charge of it, though.
yes.
It gets more done.
Yeah, that way when an email comes in, you wonder, is Gage gonna answer it, or should I answer it, or should Cindy answer it, or whatever?
I think the problem is, and I would be happy to do the administrative stuff, with the exception of the website, because I have no idea what's going on with the website. But yeah, I mean, I could certainly write up the planning board, the suggestions for the planning board and answer emails, but the problem is, I don't always know what to tell people, like, the person that I'm actually just starting in the last couple of weeks, keeping, when you guys respond to people, putting it under reference, because you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time when somebody says dogs aren't on a leash, or, can I shoot a gun, can I bait a bear? So if you have the same response every time, you can kind of work it in. But until I know all of the right responses, I would need to, be asking, what do I tell this person?
You had some nicely worded responses lately.
You like them?
Yes.
Oh, good.
I like your response.
Did we respond to the bear guy? The bear bait?
You did.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
you did.
I remember reading it, but I can't remember if I typed it.
So, yeah, so the only way you get that collection is just to go through it, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can't wait till you have all the data before you can do it, you kind of learn as you go, so.
Well, and I can go, because I've kept virtually all the emails, that's why Microsoft keeps sending me emails saying, your inbox is full, and I keep saying, stop it.
So, just so you know, the letters to the planning board, you don't need to keep those. We have them.
Okay,
I have, it's a huge file that just keep, yeah,
I started it.
yeah. I just keep adding.
Every time we do one, it's
So
a
it's-
big Word document.
It's a large Word document with everything in there.
well, because I would imagine, again, you're not really reinventing the wheel.
No.
Because most of the things that you're doing there
No,
is basically.
it's very helpful because, you get, these guys come for us and you say this, and you like, go back and you can search,
Right,
something on it, and you, oh, hey, that's the letter we sent to them, 3 years ago.
right,
It's just, it is helpful just referencing on your own. So
Okay.
that's a file, obviously, I can share with anyone.
okay.
It's public knowledge anyways, but it's,
Understanding that there will be a learning curve, I would, be happy to volunteer to be secretary if somebody
so
wants to.
we can take that informally but we can't put the position in until we change the bylaws and put it in the bylaws. So
Okay.
it's gonna have to be, we can vote in stages, I guess.
The reason why I suggested it be an actual position is that way you're empowered to speak for the commission, right?
Yeah.
So if anyone questions it, nope, Gina that's her role.
Are you comfortable with giving me that power, though?
Well, that would be up to the commission, right?
Yeah,
Hmm.
of course.
So, I mean, the commission can always take it away, too.
Yeah. That's okay. That's okay.
You know, we've, as a commission, I think we've operated very well in roles in what we've done. And there's no one of us has a role, and that's the only person that can do it. I think we've all done a very good job of, hey, I got this one for you, I can help you with this, or I can answer this question, and behind the scenes. So, I mean, the positions that we vote, people are in, you know, they're somewhat of a figurehead, but, you know, there's support there. So whatever position you wanna take on, don't feel you're on your own, like, okay, you're it, bye-bye, see ya. You know, cause we've all been there. And, you know, I go to Tim and Matt, and I go to whoever, hey, what about this? Have you thought about that? And I still owe you an answer too, I just thought about that. So, there's, it's not, you're not on your own. You're not on a limb. So, regardless of the role.
Thank you, Gina.
What?
Thank you.
Well, let me know when you want me to start doing this, though, because now tonight I didn't keep notes.
That's an easy one. I'll include you. I'll send you the file.
Okay.
It's, you know, and it's
Do you
whoever.
wanna do this one, or do you want?
Sure, I'll do this one.
Okay.
There's no problem.
Because if you want, I can.
I got to the 20th, come on.
Easy, that's an easy
It's an easy one. It's not
Yeah.
due tomorrow. It's until the 20th of August. I got time. So, all right. But the other roles, are we prepared to vote tonight for other positions?
Sure,
That's
do you have,
Yes.
do you have a nomination?
No, that's why I'm asking.
Can you tell us how you feel about continuing as chair?
I would prefer not to. I got a lot of stuff going on personally, that I feel I've kind of been dropping the ball a little bit lately, and I would certainly, I'll certainly be there to help whoever, but I would prefer if someone else would take the role. Greatly prefer if someone else would take the role.
You see why I volunteer to be secretary.
Volunteer early, right? So,
Matt?
I would be happy to stay vice chair, but I really am a horrible agenda making.
Well, I can help with the agenda stuff, too.
So-
As secretary, that would be what I'm doing, wouldn't it? Would I be doing the agenda?
So-
You could, depending on how you arrange it.
just so everyone knows, the agenda's really not that difficult, because it shows up. It shows up in two forms. One, Sharon gets all the information, and she battles it up and sends it to me. And then I get the little crib notes that have like little blanks in them. That, what time did the meeting start? Who stepped in? Dawn prepares these from Dawn. She gets it, and I get it before every meeting. And there's just little blanks of who made the motion, who did it. So you get a lot of support. The community development gives you a ton of support. So this isn't like, you know, you're on your own. The agenda, I mean, obviously, the things that come up in front of us that, you know, we're gonna table the minutes. I need to get that back down to them so they know to put it on the next agenda meeting.
See, the thing is, Matt, cause Gage and I were talking about it, and he's like, you know, chair, and I'm like, no. Because I'm too silly to sit up there. And I don't understand all of that stuff, to talk about things. And I'm not the face of the Conservation Commission. I don't feel that I don't know. I just don't feel that I know enough. And you can ask intelligent questions to these people. I just sit there and I'm like, hay and straw. That's what I know, hay and straw. Yeah. But I mean, I can help with all the administrative stuff. But if you are the face of the Conservation Commission and asking the questions, you know, then that, and I would be happy to help you with any administrative thing. so that, cause I understand, you just wanna be in the woods, forget about it.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Like right now.
Yeah, right.
you're in the meeting. Yeah.
Yes.
But you're in the meeting, so what difference does it make if you're sitting there or if you're sitting there?
True, and Tim's tried to groom me for years. Gage has tried to groom me for years.
Tough to groom a bald guy though.
I know, he's already groomed.
Exactly, perfectly.
So I would help you as much as I can help you, so that you don't, cause I know that's not what you wanna do, and I was a secretary for a million years, so, I mean, that's what I can help with.
If I do it, I'm only doing it for a year. So next year, we're gonna
That's
be,
okay, by that time.
we're gonna be
okay,
taking somebody
we'll
else.
get the new guys up. New guys, you got 1 year to get ready.
I'll do it next year.
Well, see, alternates can't do it.
Yeah.
By our bylaws, you have to change the bylaws to allow
But
alternates to do it.
remember what I had said before,
You can switch,
yes,
you know,
that I would be
in a
happy to
meeting.
switch if one of the alternates want to step up, I will
Mm.
step back down to
It
alternate.
would be an interesting
Vote.
caveat in the bylaws to allow alternate members as an officer.
But would I, as an alternate, be allowed to be secretary?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah. You'd have to, I would imagine you'd want a full-time member to be, as your officers.
Okay.
It's like having a part-time CEO, you know, wouldn't really work very well.
All right.
But
But,
in
you
a
know-
full commission like this, I mean, the part-time members,
I mean, well, okay, perfect example. Tim's an alternate. How many meetings have you missed this year? 3?
Or-
1?
I think one.
Yeah. You know, and he's in charge of the chapter 111, which is a huge project. I mean, it's not like, you know, alternate or not, it just doesn't really matter.
yes.
The only thing matters is we do have some bylaws that we're supposed to be operating against.
Yeah, in here, it says, you know,
Yeah.
certain things about full-time versus alternate. Even though the alternate may be fully capable of doing something, this says they can't.
Right, but it's, you know, it's voting, but absolutely every alternate's involved in all the discussion. So it's not like your voice is heard or not, it's kind of inconsequential.
And that cannot be changed by us, the bylaw,
The bylaws could be changed by us,
Yeah, that-
there are our
Alternate.
bylaws.
yeah.
Yeah, the last time we changed them, you were still chair. It was the last year that you were chair.
No, I
16.
was.
You were?
Yeah.
16 you were chair?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, so you've been chair for...
That's right, too long.
Yeah, you've been chair
years?
almost as long as I've been on. Cause Tim, you stepped down, right? You stepped down like 6 months after I came on, I think it was.
So,
I've been here for 3 years now.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
3 years.
Yeah.
yeah, it'll be 3 years because
So I've been 3.5,
so when I became an alternate is when I stepped down from being chair.
right. So 3, and I'm 3.5, so.
And in that same vein, I'm perfectly willing to do the same thing. If someone would like to take a full-time position, I'll gladly be an alternate. I'm still gonna show up, I'm still gonna make my comments, but
Yeah, yeah, I think a lot of us are willing to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident there's 9 people in this room more qualified to do that than I would.
No.
But,
Okay, turn on his
no,
mic.
I would not
Turn
be
on his
able to
mic.
lead this discussion.
make sure your mic's on, make sure this is recorded.
I know I wouldn't be able to lead the discussion and start these public hearings and ask those sorts of questions, because I don't even know if I have hay and straw mastered.
You get a cheat sheet.
But I do think I could take someone through this, and, you know, keep this on track and
Yeah.
stay on agenda.
That's,
And commit 3 or 4 extra hours each week to
it's
managing
not,
the correspondence. But again, I'm not your lead candidate. I'm not I'm not giving a real good stump speech here, but if no one else wanted that and you needed
Would
someone
you-
to keep us on
Would you wanna be the vice chair and
I'd
you
wanna
know,
do-
work into it?
whatever this commission wants me to do.
Okay, so we have 2 candidates here. This is good news. All right, so
well, are
should we
you know,
put
is
you
it
2 in a
force
room and
majeure?
let you do
Are we forcing you into this? For a
No.
1-year stint?
No, I've been, you know, groomed for this for a long time, and I feel like I've been able to use I don't have a computer thing.
Only so long. So now we
Yeah.
gotta.
And I just got a computer, so.
Oh.
So we don't have to purchase one for them, no.
Stranger things have happened, you might really like it.
No.
You get to sit in the
knows
big
that?
seat.
Do I get to sit in the woods
You don't
more?
have to share
No.
a table anymore.
Look, Matt he did an awesome thing the other night as the chair of the Greater Woods Subcom. We had our meeting at the outdoor classroom, it was great. So, there's no reason this can't be there, we just gotta bring cameras with us.
You know, the bugs weren't horrible.
We were doused up, though.
Yeah.
So, bug spray.
Mosquitoes.
Yeah, everybody brought their own can, so we had, you know, whatever mosquito, we had some spray for it.
Wait, no fires, so you couldn't have tiki torches, could you?
Nope.
That's probably a good thing.
All right, so we have two candidates, and, you know, obviously we can make this simple, so I mean, if, Matt, you're willing to do a chair and you wanna be a vice chair probably with the understanding that a year from now, you're gonna be chair. So, all right. All right, so, anyone wanna make a motion?
I make a motion to, I nominate Matt Karen to be the chairman of the Merrimack Conservation Commission.
We have to do what?
Who got it first? Pete did? Pete won. All right, okay. Well, we can, okay. I'm reading my cheat sheets, yeah, so I know what to. All right, so we get to vote on the election of Matt Karen to the position of chair for the Merrimack Conservation Commission for the 2019-2020 term. All those in favor? Passes unanimously. Matt, you're gonna abstain?
Yeah, I'll abstain.
Well, are you gonna, well, you can vote for yourself.
No.
All right, so the motion, well, actually, everyone voted, so.
Well, it's gonna pass
Yeah.
7-0.
Yeah, we can all vote, everyone votes for officers and bylaws.
So
Oh,
it's,
okay.
so it's 8-0.
So it's 8-0-1, with Chairman Karen abstaining.
What's zero?
Vice Chairman
What's-
Karen
there's
right
10 of us
now.
here, what's zero?
Isn't it
Huh?
9?
Yeah, there's 10 of us here.
Oh, okay, I'm counting poorly.
So
Wow,
One,
yeah.
two, three,
10.
four, five,
10.
six, seven, eight.
9-10, so, all right, so 9-0-1?
Yeah.
0-1,
When I came onto the commission, there were 5 people on
Matt,
it.
Karen.
That's it.
We're a fun group, everybody wants to be part of this.
I'm saying, this is the first time that we've had a full commission since I've been on it.
Yeah,
Mm.
I agree. First time I've seen
know.
it.
Wow,
It's great.
So,
thank you.
okay, so we have, I'm gonna call for a motion for the vice chair nominations.
We'll make a motion to nominate Steve Perkins to be the vice chair.
Second?
Good, so I get to move down the table some more. I like it.
What, musical chairs?
That's it.
We may need to vote on that.
Yeah, right.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna vote on the election of Steve Perkins to the position of vice chair for the Merrimack Conservation Commission for the 2019-20 term. All those in favor?
Following precedence.
Okay. All right, that passes 9-0-1. Okay. That was easy.
Easier than you thought, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You thought you were
Excited.
gonna have to rough us all up.
Thank you,
No,
Gage.
no, thank you.
Thank you.
This is,
Thank you.
this has been good, this has been a good fun time.
Hey.
All right, old business, chapter 111. Do you want to get into this? Gonna-
I did not get a chance to jump in
Yeah.
yet, so
You,
just saying.
are you gonna want the,
Well, so the next thing on our piece is, let me step back. So our last couple of meetings, we've talked about the different property types.
Mhm.
And we also did some refinement of what we thought should be permitted uses, or, sorry, should be restricted uses for those different property types. I didn't create one single document that says, this is the type and these are all the uses. I just didn't get around to putting that all together. But we also need to go through and review all our parcels and say, where do they land? Which type are they?
didn't you do this?
Well, I made a suggestion for, yes, I put that together, but I didn't put all the notes and everything into a very clean sheet. I got it pretty close, right? So the last sheet I put out to all of you gave our initial thoughts, and then also some of the general ideas on chapter 111. I just didn't tidy it up one more step. So I thought in its current state that I sent out is close enough for this discussion. So the next point would be going through the Excel spreadsheet and all the parcels and say they don't require any restrictions. They're all the different pieces there. So do you want to do that tonight? You ready to do that, or did you want to look at deed and restriction information till our next meeting in order to do that?
I'd rather do
Let's
the
do
next
it.
meeting, honestly.
Yeah?
I don't feel prepared to do it tonight.
What's the date of our next meeting?
5th,
Fifth?
August 5th.
August
When are we
5th.
presenting to the
August
town
5th?
council?
yes.
When we're ready.
Okay, because you had said something about mid-August?
We were,
No, we were thinking we could have a public hearing as soon as the end of August. But it's really when we're ready,
Okay.
so.
So by August 5th, what would be the plan? To go through the deeds of a few of the properties that were a little bit,
If you had a question on them, yes. If there was no questions on a deed, then I would say no, because I did try to summarize in the Excel spreadsheet, so you may want to look at that. If you're not clear on what I put in the Excel spreadsheet for a comment, you have access to the actual deed information, so you can dig deeper if you want. Or you can send me an email or call me and ask me a question before the meeting for clarity, and then I can update things so they're more clear, so.
do you have that spreadsheet live?
I do.
Did everyone understand what he was talking about, getting the deed information and having access to it, or?
Yeah, so before not our last meeting, but the meeting before, I went through and provided everyone a PDF or a Word document of pieces of the deeds for all the ones that had deed restrictions. I gave you that. And then at our last meeting, I gave everyone a DVD of all the raw data, so you could dig even deeper into the raw data. I did get your email. I have to put it on a thumb drive, though. Okay.
Thank
So,
you.
'cause, my DVD writer is a little broken right now, so.
No worries, I don't have a DVD drive. Thumb drive is good.
Oh.
Okay. So you have both summary information for each of the parcels that had deed restrictions, as well as you have the raw data as well, so. And you've had that for a few weeks now. So, plus you have the Excel spreadsheet where I took a first stab at putting parcels in different spots, but I did that before we came to a conclusion on what we wanted to restrict based on property type. So some of that is probably gonna change slightly, only because of, we've changed. So, but I would expect that amount of change to be 10% at most, probably. Probably 6 or 7 parcels at most, based on the feedback that I've seen so far. So I think we're fairly close to that, but we haven't actually come to the point where we believe property A is of this type, property B is of that, and as a group can all nod our heads and say, yeah, that's where we wanna go. To take it one step further, once we've reached that point where we have the different types, the restrictions by type, and the properties that by type, we need to pull all that data together and provide that to the town staff and say, this is what we're thinking. And we may at that point wanna have a public hearing to invite people of the public to come talk to us about any comments they might have about a parcel that's maybe in their back door, or maybe it's a parcel that they utilize on a regular basis, and all that stuff, so. And collect that feedback, because I don't want to actually start writing an ordinance until we get feedback from town staff as well as feedback from the public. We probably want to get some legal opinion to make sure we're not overstepping our bounds, and then we can start towards writing an ordinance. At that point, after the public hearing, we probably want to provide the town council some preliminary information. This is what we're thinking. So, we'll want to take it to them before we invest money in a true legal review of legalese wording. So, and that's all based on that plan I put together now over a year ago now. So as to how it proceeds. So that's kind of the next few steps. So our next step is really to assign types to parcels, and then put all the data cleanly so we can get input from both the public and town staff.
Let me sidetrack this for just a second. I'm sorry, I was remiss on something very important. Eric Starr is our newest member of the commission. Sorry about that. Have you been given your email address yet?
Yes.
So you have a .gov?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Eric, I'm sorry, did I coach you in basketball? Was your father on the commission long time ago?
Yeah. He was on here for 6 years.
I think I coached you in basketball when you were really small.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Small
Yeah.
world.
Yeah, I think you were on my basketball team. Never mind.
Obviously, he's got fond memories of it.
No, it's so long ago. He was pretty young.
Well, the
Um,
question is, do you still play?
No.
No, okay.
So Tim has a large spreadsheet of all the properties, and we're gonna have to get that copy of that information to him.
I brought two thumb drives, so I can create two of them tonight.
Yeah,
So I can leave you a copy and leave Mike a copy.
okay.
Did you get the email about this meeting with the draft minutes and everything in it?
I don't think so. I just got it off of the website.
Okay, I'm just wondering,
I
because they have to add
I
to.
sent it to the one address that we had going back and forth. I sent it to your non-public address.
Oh, well, I meant if the Conservation Commission, to make sure he's added to the group.
Yes, that's the thing. But
This is
yes,
yeah.
I was working downstairs. I didn't know if they'd actually done it yet. That's all. But yeah, I sent it to your non-public address.
Oh, okay.
So
Can I get it on this instead of the CD?
But-
Yeah. So if you prefer to wait to the 5th, that's fine with me.
yeah, that's fine. I want to keep going
I
on it
do
because
too.
there's a lot of work there, and you've done a ton of work. So I want to make sure we get it,
Me too.
circle around and finish it.
Right.
Well, I gotta get the stuff that, I have the list,
Yeah.
so I gotta get that going.
Yeah, so we're still missing some formal copies of some of the deeds. But I did do an electronic quick review of them to see if they had any impact to what we're doing, and I don't believe they do. So, which is why we kept moving forward.
So you're just looking for grabs on those? You're looking
Yeah.
for the snippets on
Right, to
those?
capture them so we have them for the record,
Okay.
right? And they'll do a quick review just to make sure that we didn't miss anything, and as you go through it, you'll see some of that, so.
All right.
So, yeah, I think we had 6 properties that we still needed more information. The town had the town spreadsheet that we started from showed a deed that wasn't necessarily the most current deed, as in ownership deed. It may have been an easement deed or something else. Yeah, so, yeah.
Okay.
In one of our tax properties, the town clerk is getting me a copy of the original deed as well, so. But I figured even if that information became something new, we could just update on those properties. So,
Okay.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, sure. Okay. I was looking at the deed for Fields Farm,
yeah,
and, it talks about for conservation and public park purposes, and to protect wildlife, and they list you know, some of the uses, hiking, wildlife observation, jogging trails, cross-country skiing, and similar recreational activities, but not for athletic fields. So I'm wondering if that can be interpreted to have no shooting, basically, no hunting. I believe that the Wildcat one says the same thing about being a public park. But, and it would add, so if you look at our properties, the biggest ones are Horse Hill, almost 600 acres. Greater Woods is over 500 acres. So that's 1,000 acres where, you know, people can hunt right now. If you look at the properties that it's not allowed on, it's less than 200 acres. So if Fields Farm was no hunting, that would add another 100 acres where people could go and feel completely safe, honestly. You know, and I think the deed kind of backs it up too. We don't have to talk about it tonight. This is just one of the things I was looking through. But
Yeah, and we would, you know, in our next exercise, we would be resolving
look
that
at
question,
properties
right?
and
Yeah.
stuff.
And putting them in the right bucket.
Fields Farm, that's off of Amherst Road.
Yes.
Yeah. That's one we're just starting the subcommittee for. Right.
It's popular in hunting season, I'll tell you that.
Bill's Farm?
Yes,
Oh, yes.
Mhm.
Well,
Yeah.
because probably hikers aren't in there yet.
it's a big part of it, right?
Mhm.
It's very wooded.
Mhm.
Are there any trails?
Some of them are grown in, so they're not
Yeah.
noticeable, but others along the river, you can notice the walk along the river.
But that's, Fields Farm is gonna, isn't that the one that's abutting your neighborhood?
The add-on parcel that we should hopefully get this year would be abutting.
Are people from your neighborhood already hiking in there, or not yet?
I don't think so.
Okay,
I don't really see a lot of evidence of people in there.
okay.
Every now and then I could tell, like this spring, I could tell that some people were down there fishing because they broke some branches in order to be able to cast into the river and stuff like that.
Okay.
I'm assuming that's what was going on. It's something I would have done.
I think that property in particular has got the chance to be pretty popular for its proximity to Horse Hill.
Yep.
So,
Yes,
Yeah.
it
Hoop
just,
Loop 2.
it's just, yeah, interesting, yeah. So,
I mean, if everyone else wants to go through and, don't let me stop you, but.
The parcel that I'm interested in researching is the one on Greens Pond Road at the bottom there, at the low point where the water drains through, goes to Waterworks in the back. Is that? I forget the name of the property.
is that the one that goes under the power lines, you mean?
Yeah, with the rock.
So where we had that big pond for a while?
Yes.
Okay.
Is that in the list?
Is that across from the club?
Kind of.
Somewhat.
Natticook Brook or something like that?
Yeah, it's Natticook Brook goes out.
You know the
but-
power lines come down and the hill goes like
It's very steep.
very steep.
Yeah.
That, at the base of that,
Yeah.
that's where the property goes through.
Walk back through there.
Yeah.
There's some crazy mountain biking trails back there.
yeah, some of them on our property, some of them not. Some of them are on common land, owned by a housing development
Oh,
back there.
interesting.
So,
I noticed there was a lot posted
Yeah.
here and there.
yeah, the housing people posted their property a long time ago, and then the fishing game club posted their property as well, with big no trespassing signs.
Yeah.
So you're not supposed to bike through it, but people do.
Okay.
Which is at their own peril.
Especially behind the hunting club.
Right.
We need,
You're biking
You can-
across the top of the mountain that they're shooting bullets at.
we need you to do that
That's a
job on your
sensible
ATV.
posting.
Yeah,
So we do that.
some large caliber bullets too.
Where were bullets?
Gilmore Hill Memorial Forest.
Yeah.
Where were
That's what it's
bulletproof
called.
vests?
Yeah, the overall property, yeah.
Yeah, because
Is that part of Gilmore? All the way over there?
No.
I guess,
I don't know anything
yeah,
about that.
down by that pond, I don't think that's,
So Gilmore is really two parcels, because the PSNH piece that runs through it is actually owned by PSNH.
Oh.
We thought it was an easement, but it's actually, they actually own
Own it.
that 150-foot wide piece. So
Oh.
it carves our property into two pieces.
Wow.
okay.
Did they buy it? Did they pay us for it?
No, not us.
Oh.
So does
Previous
that,
owner.
does that have frontage on Greens Pond?
It does.
Gilmore Hill
And there's
does.
a gate.
Well, it has frontage on Natticook Brook,
Is that-
Well, it's
does
the
that
Greens
have a
Pond Road.
Greens Pond Road, yes.
Right.
And there's parking,
Correct.
and then there's a gate.
Yep.
And then there's a road that is underwater.
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't used to
However,
be.
I believe they allow motorized.
We got the deed here, we can look it up. Or what's my note on Gilmore Hill?
It says for conservation, no hunting or discharge of gun, bow, et cetera.
So Gilmore Hill is also is in chapter 111? Does it say in chapter 111?
Yeah. It should be.
Yes.
There's a column, I think it's
Yes.
in chapter 111, which means it doesn't allow motorized except for snowmobiles.
And it's, because it's also the property that we have that's, that is on the Heritage Commission, on the Heritage, the national, what is it? What's the name?
Yes.
Yeah.
The
I don't know if
natural-
it's in
Register.
there
Natural,
yet.
natural,
or
natural
we're saying
heritage
to-
Register.
or whatever it is.
It's not currently in chapter 111?
It
I guess
is.
we have it.
It says
Or
yes.
is
No, that says that was ours, whether to include it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think when we look up the
But it already was chapter 111, isn't it?
11.
No,
It's not.
no, because we have chapter 111 right here. No, it's not.
Okay. So I think, condition of the road, the historical register, I think that's one we should really consider adding
Yeah.
to chapter 111 and posting and doing some work in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's in our spreadsheet, so we'll be taking it up. I did put it preliminary in a box, right?
Hmm?
In a bucket?
Yeah, we're saying that we do want to
We
include
do
it.
want-
It's
Right, and then what else did I say? Which type of property did I say? Is that a
Major
recent
Major
property
and
plus
Wasserman.
Wasserman.
plus Wasserman, which means passive recreation. So,
That's probably one where target shooting occurs fairly regularly.
Frequently.
Yeah.
yeah, and that one's against the deed, so you're not allowed to be doing it.
Yeah.
So,
In
and
fact-
once it's in the ordinance, we can enforce it.
There used to be a sign on the gate
Yeah.
that got shot.
That's always so, so happy when they do things like that.
You shouldn't be laughing and encouraging people. It's not funny.
All right, so we're gonna table the 111 update till the 5th,
Table or continue.
or continue? Yeah, sorry, that's better.
Yeah, the next chair can make that agenda.
Well, but I will help with the agendas. Even if I'm not
I'm
officially,
just busting you a little.
even if I'm not officially secretary, I will not leave
I
you.
never thought the day would
stranded.
come.
I know, I didn't know.
Yeah, I'm surprised myself here.
He thinks he's dreaming. But we have it on video, you're accepting.
Mm.
So.
Okay, do we have any other comments about the 111?
This is not homestead property mean.
Means you can't build a house on it.
Oh, okay. I mean, not that we would as a commission, but I'm just curious. They put that in, probably, well, that would make sense, right, to
Right.
put that in conservation deeds, okay.
And it was given by a family
Yeah,
Mhm.
with that, yeah.
saying, we don't want,
Right.
we don't want to give
wouldn't
this to
us
the town and
sell
then
it,
have
right?
you put a home on it.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
We want, any other 111 comments, chapter 111 comments? For now? So we're gonna continue it on the 5th?
Yep.
Okay. All right, going on to other business, we have subcommittee updates. Do we have any?
I'll go. So, our next meeting, we were supposed to have one at the beginning of July, but we had to move it. So it's gonna be Monday, July 29th for the Horse Hill Nature Preserve at 6:30 in this room. But I did ask the 3 members whose term is up about renewing, and they all would like to. So, just make a motion on those. I'd like to make a motion for Peter, and I can never say this right, Malikovic?
Mikulajczyk.
That, yes, and Lynn Wentz. They're both full-time members. Their term expires 7/31/2019, so the new term would be expiring 7/31/2022. And there's also Tim Adams, who's an alternate. Also, his term is expiring in July 31st, so same term. His would be ending July 31st, 2022,
As an alternate.
as an alternate.
Second.
All right. Any other comments and questions? So, do alternates vote on subcommittee members? I don't think so. I think it's just a voting on this, on this chapter. Okay. All right, so we have a motion to extend Peter, renew Peter, Lynn, and Tim Adams. Okay. Any other comments and questions? All those in favor? All right. Passes 7-0-0.
Of course, we appreciate their volunteering and.
Thank them very much
Yes.
for their service.
Yes. So then, they, at our last meeting in April, they had a question just about the update, the once-a-year update, you know, for the subcommittee to come to this body to just update them. And, I mean, I'm thinking it kind of depends on what subcommittee wants to do. Like, there's no specific format that, you know, you're looking for, right? It's really just come before us and say what you've done over the past year.
Same
You
thing
can
we
make
do
it
with,
as
same
big
thing
or
we
as
do with,
little, right?
yeah, same thing we do with town council.
Okay. And
Here's our heavy hitters, here's what we went after, here's what we did, and here's where we wanna go next year.
Okay,
Goals that they need our help on, that we might have to,
Yeah.
you know, prepare for.
okay, yeah, like the budget. We're gonna talk about that at the July meeting, so. And I don't think it has a time frame. It just says once a year.
Just says once a year.
Just says once a year.
Okay, so it doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
it's really kinda at a convenience.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, it's good too, cause I think of how well you know those, you see those guys all the time, and ladies all the time, and how well you know them. I mean, people here probably see them rarely.
Oh, right, yes. Mhm.
Oh, yeah, that's right, you're Peter, or you're Lynn, whatever, so just, it's just good to keep-
Yes, I've noticed that for like,
keep faces together, you know?
Wildcat Falls. I'm like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that-
So it just helps,
Yeah, thank
cause
you.
we should all be going in the same direction, so.
Mhm.
Any other
Oh, I'm done,
subcommittee
yeah.
updates?
Mhm.
Real quick, Peter did reach out to me today. He wants to get mowed, the Horse Hill parking lot and the fire road. So I'm gonna make a request to DPW for
Okay.
mowing sport.
Okay, I thought they were already like doing the parking lot. It's just kind of a
I'm gonna,
little nudge.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
and I'm gonna ask for rocks,
Okay.
cause I forgot to do that.
Oh.
Sorry.
It's okay. You wanna go?
I don't really have anything right now. Wildcat Falls does have a meeting in August, but I don't remember the date off the top of my head, and I will check and see if anyone is, I'm sorry, what?
Sorry, is your light on?
I'm talking over here.
Oh.
Yeah, it's lit.
And, I will check and see if any members are up for, renewal.
Okay.
It's August 13th,
August 13th, thank you.
Tuesday.
And if anybody's reporting a big snag of trees down on Falls Loop Trail, it's taken care of.
Thank you.
Wildcat Falls done, so now Greater Woods.
Greater Woods.
We had our meeting out at the outdoor classroom. Mike attended to check out a subcommittee meeting. It was actually a really good meeting.
Yep.
We got to look at a few things that we've talked about for years, but a lot of the members of the subcommittee had never seen, like the education bridge that we had built, the beaver meadow that used to be a large beaver dam, and we did, you know, sort of a
Pond, yeah.
field trip and talked about where the water levels used to be. So it was great for subcommittee members that have been on a subcommittee for a long time to actually see things that we've talked about for years. I think it's good to do that every once in a while, get everybody on property to point out certain things, and we had the great opportunity of having the outdoor classroom built, and it's a great place to hold a meeting, not only for conservation people, but anybody could have a meeting there. It's a fantastic
Yep.
place to meet. And thankfully, the bugs weren't bad that night, because sometimes in Greater Woods, you're carried away. So
Yeah.
it was very good. There was just enough of a breeze, so it was good. But nothing major. We did have a volunteer that has agreed to do a lot of the trail brushing. So looking over the next couple weeks to hear how that's going.
You talking about the main trails mowing, or,
No, the skinnier trails that are growing in.
okay.
He's gonna go and just kind of open up the corridor again.
I'll reach out to the other guy with the sickle bar mower, see if he can take a couple laps. Cause it's amazing how fast that's growing in
Yeah, there's some spots on the
on the main trail.
road,
Yeah,
you know,
that are,
that you can sort of grab a leave over here and
yeah.
grab one over here too.
You know, that's
which
supposed to be a 13-foot wide, road, and it's, there's places where you're inside
Tight.
like 4 or 5 feet. It's just brush. It's not like it's big stuff. It's just that it's.
It will be if you let it grow.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be. Yeah. So I can reach out to Dave too and find out if he's got availability to do that.
Yeah, but nothing major. That's
We gotta figure out a way to get rid of that concrete.
oh yeah. Yeah.
The scout that built that thing left for us a pallet of concrete. We could use at other locations. It's all wrapped up in plastic and all that, but
Oh, wow.
apparently some water got into it. So,
Yeah.
so
Where's it at?
We got
right next- right
bags
next-
of rocks.
yeah.
Oh.
At least the
Oh,
top.
can you take it to?
Yeah, that's the thing. So at least the top, we can make a wall out of it or something. Because it's cured rock now, so we could use it for, directing and water retention.
Just
or whatever.
galore.
Yeah.
No, it's not. Yeah.
Well, without rebar, those rocks are not very solid.
No,
at all.
that's the thing. It's something people could ride on or whatever, or
Oh.
retention on a side of a slope or something.
And that you must have put another lock on that chain on that gate that was vandalized.
I did.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that was I called the police, and they didn't want to come out to it because they don't have vehicles that can get there. So I forwarded them the picture, and that was the report.
Any camera setup or anything?
I did not.
Pete's got to have a comment.
Matt, when you put that before, I messaged you or I emailed you back saying maybe put the game camera there to see if we can find
Yeah,
a picture of this individual.
I didn't set it up. That spot's kind of, every tree's very visible, so I feel like if we set one up there, we're gonna lose the camera. I had a tree that I kind of thought would be good and it's hidden enough, but I don't think, there's too many, it's a, 4-way trail there, and it's a well-visited area. I don't know if we're gonna have any luck. I think we'll lose a camera more than we'd find somebody. And I put it back, I re-gated, rechained, and it's 2 weeks later and it's fine. No, nobody's gone into it again. However, I have been seeing the same pickup truck with a trailer parked on the dirt road from the Wilson Hill end. And I gave the same officer the picture of the truck, trailer, license plate. And I don't know what he's done with it, but I said likely, you know, same timing. This truck's always there when we see people coming to the back of that gate. It's a big UTV, 4-seater UTV. So,
Where is this on Wilson Hill that you're seeing it?
the truck.
Yeah.
So you know that now that South Grader Road off of Wilson Hill has a house up on the left-hand side that you actually have to go down South Grader Road a little bit, and the house is up to the left.
Yes.
Right as it forks, this guy's driveway's on the left, and the road goes straight. He's pulling off to the side of that and just stopping right there. There's like a detention pond right below where he's parking. But yeah. Not saying it's, not saying I know it's that guy or I have any, but just, coincidentally, the lock was cut for the first time that we've seen, and this guy's there a lot. Just coincidentally. But yeah, that's it there. We don't know who it is, but they haven't gotten back in, so.
Any other comments? Questions?
Are you gonna check out your members that their term is due and see if they're gonna participate?
Yes, I didn't do that at the meeting a couple weeks ago, but I will definitely reach out to them.
Was the next meeting is,
September. But we can do that. We
September
can
10th, yeah.
gauge their intention off of
Yeah, September 10th, yeah.
email.
Okay. Oh my God, September. All right. We're making plans for September. This is great. All right, any other subcommittee updates?
Oh, wow. I
Oh.
will admit, when I walked in here, I had not read them, but then I read them.
Oh, the minutes.
Do we wanna, did everyone get a chance to read the minutes and feel confident that we can review them? Yeah, okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the Merrimack Conservation Commission meeting minutes dated June 17th, 2019, with changes as follows.
Second.
Second by Cindy.
I didn't read them until last, so I don't get to speak until last, so.
Do you have any?
I didn't find anything.
Oh,
anywhere.
okay. Cindy, do you have anything?
I think I have one. Let's see. Just on page 6, line 25. I think that the indicated should just have the D dropped. So should indicate.
Good.
Well, yeah, what's that one?
That's all I got, all I have.
Page 5, line 9. So a period in the middle of that needs to be removed. And
Good too.
page 5, line 22.
I didn't see that.
Quote, controlled by the use of a leash, not lease.
Oh, good catch.
That might be a good idea, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Spell check won't grab that.
Nope.
What was that for me?
I really want to see an animal in a cage being walked around.
Walked around, yeah.
Anybody else have any? Cool. All right. All those in favor? Passes 700. That's all right, don't worry about it. All right. Changes. All right. Any commissioner comments? Peter, you want to start? Nothing?
Nothing yet.
Cool. Michael?
Welcome, Eric.
Gina?
I finally remembered to bring in my slip for the flower seeds.
Okay.
Speaking of flower seeds, I went and I checked them out. They're like, it looks like grass at this point, so I'm hoping that the annuals are gonna start popping up. And that, cause I understand it takes 2 or 3 years for a wildflower meadow to establish, but it's taken its sweet time here, you know. So I'm hoping what you said of, oh, grass seed's gonna come in and take over, I'm hoping that that's not what happened.
Yeah.
Do you think that's what happened? Cause I would think that wildflowers are pretty tenacious. They're gonna get.
So is grass.
You know what's more tenacious?
Yeah.
Grass.
Really? But I would think that I mean, you
I
look
mean,
at,
are you seeing any sprouts at all of anything?
well, everything's sprouting, but it looks like grass. I'm not seeing flowers blooming yet is the problem.
Okay.
But it could be that the annuals aren't gonna bloom until August, you know? So I'm just gonna keep going down and looking. They've been getting plenty of water, you know? I mean, maybe too much water, you know? But it seemed like it was raining every other day to every three days. So I didn't feel the need to go down and water it if it was getting rain every 3 days.
Yep.
So,
I mean, we're at the point now where you shouldn't have to water every day. So-
well, no, and at this point, these seeds do like some drought too. So that's why I picked them, because they can handle drought. So I'm just hoping, so what I'm gonna do is if they don't, then on my own dime, I'm gonna get some pre-perennials and go down and put them in and hope that, you know, they do their thing and
Well,
spread because.
let us know before it gets to that point.
Okay, but as I'm walking down, I'm seeing other flowers, you know. I drive by, I see these big fields of black-eyed Susans and stuff, and it's like, you know, these flowers are doing good. What's wrong with my flowers? Very sad. But anyway, I do have this slip, so.
Is that you want to submit it for
Yeah.
reimbursement?
Yeah, but it's that amount, because I also got myself some seeds, so that's the amount that's for reimbursement, the
This is the
55.65
Okay,
up there.
okay. Perfect.
You wanna show me what to do with it, since I'm gonna take over paper stuff?
I'm gonna sign it and I'm gonna stick it in here and give it back to community development.
All right, do you want this too then?
What's that? Oh, yeah, that's good. That'll go with it eventually, yes. Thank you. I wish when people would wrote their name and they'd make it so I could read it. All right, Mike, you got anything?
I do not.
Tim?
So, as some of you know, I'm also on the Nashua Regional Planning Commission. We had our last meeting, we've had, in June, we had our last meeting towards the end of the month. Nothing went on during the meeting that relates to what we're doing, but at that meeting, I was elected to the executive committee, so I'll be
Congratulations.
part of the executive committee going forward.
Great.
So,
That didn't take long.
yeah. So, I know I've asked for more, even more work.
Yeah.
I did let them know that for the next couple of months, I've got some other things I need to get to, and I was thinking about Chapter 111, so I figured I'd let you know what I did do, in case you're wondering, you know, what does that mean for us? We should be well through most of Chapter 111 before that takes more of my time, so just as a heads up, so. That's it.
Cool, all right. Matt?
Nothing.
anything? Any last words? No?
No? Yeah, my freedom is gone.
Sydney?
At the last meeting, we talked about the site plan regulations. So I looked them up today, and it looks like they're gonna be splitting the subdivision regulations from site plan regulations. It's a little confusing when you go on the website, because you pull up 2 PDFs, and they're both
This
regulations.
is the planning board.
Yes, under the planning board. but the public hearing is gonna be held Tuesday, August 6th at 7 o'clock in the Matthew Thornton Room.
And that's for both?
Yes, yep, that's for both. So I looked at the regs, proposed regs for the site plan, and I don't know if this part is new or not, but it does have, native plants should be used in appropriate locations, which is good, of course. Under no circumstances shall any plants be used that are recognized as invasive, which is good. So I
So,
think,
just so you know, the planning board has, we send, like we said, we send very similar
Mhm.
requirements to the planning board, so they're writing it into the town regs, so people know that going in when because they can pull that, as a, okay, this is what I have to follow for the town.
right,
So they know up front,
Mhm.
okay, I can't do this, can't do this, can't do that.
yeah,
So
that's good.
they're trying to write in some of the things that we send them on a regular basis into the code.
Yeah, I didn't know if that part was new or not, but,
Yeah.
because I know we talked about this, that they do have in there about, the Aquifer Conservation District,
Mm-hmm.
and the low phosphate, slow release nitrogen fertilizer shall be used. And then while not required, it is recommended that the applicant utilize a soil testing facility to determine what levels and application rates are necessary prior to applying any fertilizers to the site. So that was good.
Cut, paste.
Right, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, well, but it makes it easier, makes it easier for us, it makes it easier for the people coming in, because they're not, having to try to learn what we want.
Yep. And then for the, again, with within
Aquifer?
thank you, Aquifer Conservation District, it's Monday, and or a wellhead protection area, no salt or chemical de-icers are to be used for winter maintenance, and winter maintenance shall be performed by a green, Snow Pro certified or functional equivalent certification contractor.
Wow,
I just
that's-
looked it up to see what, let everybody know what was actually
S-
in the
So
proposed
now,
ones, so.
this supersedes what a proposal comes in with.
Yes.
This is a regulation.
Yes.
Oh, so, okay, so we can say.
Yep.
They'll tell you that this has to be in there,
Right, so-
it's
so-
not just our recommendation
Yeah, so like the
anymore.
plans we saw tonight should come in, and they should pull that,
Mhm.
because they're gonna submit a plan to the planning board, and if they're smart, they were gonna go get the requirements of the planning board, which is that, and make their plans, appropriately, so.
That's all I have.
Great, thank you. Stephen?
Nothing, thank
Right, Eric? Come on, you have to tell a joke or something.
No.
I've decided that I am going to return for a second meeting.
Oh, okay.
Is that the joke?
Actually, Gage, one other thing.
Please.
Thank you for your service to the
Oh,
community.
absolutely.
A lot of hard work, I know you've done a lot of hard work.
Well, thank you. Again, we've got a good group here, so it makes it easy. So, thank you. All right, and I don't have anything, so.
Motion adjourned.
Second?
Motion by Karen and second by Cindy Glenn. All those in favor? Passes 7-0 at 8:12.
Eric, you have a brother named Jeff?
Yeah.
That's who it was.
Oh.
Yes.